Quickly looking at the importance of nitrogen fixation and nitrogen cycle. So the thing is, this nitrogen fixation is actually a step in nitrogen cycle. All right. So I think the whole thing should just be focused on nitrogen cycle. All right. But just talk briefly on the nitrogen fixation, then before you start talking about the nitrogen cycle. All right. So you talk about the importance and you still give a briefing of what a nitrogen cycle is. All right. So that you're able to convince your examiner that you actually know what you're doing. All right. So we are saying this nitrogen fixation. Just look at the picture. Nitrogen fixation just have to do with what? The atmospheric nitrogen. It coming back into the soil to be utilized from the soil, okay, into the trees. The animals eat the trees, okay, they get absorbing the nitrogen and all of that. Just trying to look at how this nitrogen is recycled back to us. So nitrogen fixation is a process by which atmospheric nitrogen, that's the N2, is converted into a form that is usable by living organisms. And examples of this form is the what? The ammonia that we know. All right. So this is primarily what carried out by certain bacteria and archaea. That's basically what primitive bacteria and animals, right? And these bacteria and animals and primitive animals are found in the soil or in the root nodules of legumes. I remember back in the days when we were doing agriculture, they really stressed us on this word nitrogen cycle. And of now, I'm in a place where the nitrogen cycle is not really of use to me. Right? Then talking about the nitrogen cycle itself, the nitrogen cycle encompasses several processes. And these processes include the nitrogen fixation that we're talking about, then nitrification, assimilation, ammonification, denitrification. Okay, so the memory aid for this could be what? N A A D. Okay, the first N is what? Nitrogen fixation. Second N is what? Nitrification. First A is what? Assimilation. Third A is what? Ammonification. D is what? Denitrification. So these processes actually ensure the continuous supply and transformation of what? Nitrogen in the ecosystem. All right, so what are the key steps? I told you guys that I will give a small hint on the nitrogen cycle so that you're able to what? Convince the person. So talking about the steps now from the mnemonic we developed, which is what? NNAAD. Talking about the first N is nitrogen fixation. This N2 from the atmosphere is brought to the soil and is being converted into what? NH3. All right, so what's the next thing? Nitrification now. Now, conversion of ammonia to nitrites, then to nitrates. Okay, so this ammonia is converted to nitrites, then converted to nitrate. I hope you are following up. Let's use this one. Ammonia is first converted to what? Nitrites. Then from nitrite to nitrates. That's what nitrification. Then assimilation. The plants will get to absorb the nitrates and convert them into organic molecules like proteins and nucleic acid. Then ammonification. That's what decomposition of organic matter, which is now returning nitrogen to the soil as ammonia. Then we have denitrification. This is when the nitrates are converted back to the what? Nitrogen gas that will be sent back to the atmosphere, releasing it into the atmosphere. All right. So I think that's it. I'm talking about the importance of nitrogen fixation and nitrogen cycle, how they are important to survival. Right. So how they are important to survival is simply yes. If this nitrogen is kept in one place and not recycled, it will lead to toxicity. Do you understand? And if these animals and plants are not getting the nitrogen, the plants might die, the animals might die, we will not have food. Do you understand? So please, you actually add where you are discussing the importance of the survival. I actually missed that out, right? But you can just reason it out.